Viewers and subscribers, welcome back to the Sports Perspective TV. As always, thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate you taking the time out to watching the video and interacting with the video as well. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the West Indies Championship, right? The sixth round of the West Indies Championship. It has begun, and there were a few brilliant performances on the first day. So I'm gonna be giving you an update, as it relates to the scores, those performances, and also just the overall standing of the competition, with only 2 rounds remaining, right? So before I do that, would really appreciate if you take a few seconds to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you have not done so as yet. Right? So take a few seconds to do that. All right, let's get into the details now, right? So, like I said, the West Indies Championship, the sixth round started. And the matchups were, so you had Guyana going up against the Leeward Islands, right? Guyana, they are currently the leaders. They are looking to win 3 straight West Indies Championship titles. And they're currently atop the leaderboard, by a slim margin over Trinidad, who are in second. I think it's only about a point that separates them. And then you have Leeward Islands in third, if I remember correctly, right? So it was the Guyana going up against the Leeward Islands, and in that match, right, Guyana batted first, and they were bowled out for 193 against the Leeward Islands, right? Top scored for Guyana was Kevem Anderson. He made 77 not out, right? And he was the like I said, the leading run scorer for Guyana in their innings of 193. Bowling for the Leeward Islands, you had Rakeem Cornwall taking 3 for 25, and Hayden Walsh taking 2 wickets for 26. Also taking 2 wickets was Justin Greaves as well, right? The Leewards in reply, they are 142 for 4, 143 for 4, right? So they are only 50 runs behind with 6 wickets remaining in the first innings, right? So Lee was definitely, trying to play party spoilers for Guyana, and also trying to stake their claim to win the championship as well. Because, like I said, they are in third place, so they still have a slight shot of winning the championship if they can perform well. If they can win this match against Guyana and then also win their final match, then the door will definitely be open, right? So that's the state of the match between Guyana and the Leeward Islands at the moment. Again, Guyana bowled out for 193. And the Leewards in reply are 143 for 4. Right? Then also going to the next match I'm going to go to is the match between the Windward Islands and Barbados. Right? Now in this one we had the only century of the day. So which came from Sunil Ambris, right? He made 110, in the Leewards total of 186 all out, right? So Ambris pretty much single-handedly, lifted the Windwards to a score of 186. As a matter of fact, the Windwards started out really, really shaky, right? They lost 3 quick wickets, and then I think they were 21 for 4 when Kavem Hodge got out. But Ambris, he held his head down and batted well, scoring a brilliant century. So well done to Sunil Ambris. Congratulations to him as well, on scoring that century and lifting the Windwards to a respectable total, right? Obviously, 186 is nothing to write home about, but it gives their bowler something to bowl against, right? And Barbados in reply, they are 94 for 5. Right, so Barbados are currently struggling to get to that 186. Right, currently at the crease is Kyle Mayers. He's on 40 not out. Right, so without that 40 not out from Kyle Mayers, you can just tell what the score would have been for Barbados. Right, their batsman struggled. Kraig Brathwaite, who was also you have I think it's Drakes. And another young batsman that has been making runs for them, they all feel to really trouble the scorers that much in this one. So Barbados in reply to 186 are 94 for 5, right? Against the Windward Islands. Now moving on to the match between the combined colleges and campuses and the West Indies Academy, right? you know, you can say two of the development teams in the competition, right? They both squads consisting of a lot of youngsters. You know, the combined colleges and campuses, they do have a few experienced players in there as well. You know, the likes of Karen Powell. But for the majority of it, you know, it's emerging young players that make up their team, right? So the CCC batted first in this one, and they were bowled out for 238, right? But the highlight of the day from that match was Joshua Bishop, right? He took 6 wickets in for the West Indies Academy in bowling out the CCC for 238, right? And Joshua Bishop, you know, he has been having a brilliant season, a brilliant all-round season, you know, for the West Indies Academy. You know, in so much as I think he's made a century and a few half centuries, you know, and he's taken quite at least 3 or 4 or 5 wicket hauls throughout the tournament, right? So, you know, he's having a brilliant all round season. And the sixth round, you know, was no different, right? You know, taking 6 wickets, you know, for his team. The West Indies Academy in reply, they are 37 for 1, right? So quite a bit of batting they have remaining to do, right? But you know, like I said, the highlight of the day was definitely that from Joshua Bishop. So well done to Joshua Bishop. You know, congratulations, you know, on taking another 5 wicket haul. You know, and it will be interesting to see if he gets a look in to the West Indies squad, you know, test squad. You know, it 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 might be tough for him though, right? You know, considering the fact that there is a Jamel Warwick and you know who has been bowling brilliant for the West Indies, you know, also a good Akesh Moti, you know, so all of whom are left-handed spinners, right? So but you never know, he might get a look in as a result of his all-round capabilities as well, right? But time will tell on that, you know, only a few more weeks before Darren Salmon names his first test squad since taking the helms as the coach of the test team, right? So that squad will be interesting, you know, and I'm sure we are all looking forward to seeing what that squad will look like when it does get released, right? And now moving on to the last match of the day, right? And this match was it ended well, it's a day nighter, right? You know, it went late into the evening, which is between the Jamaica Scorpions and Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders. Yeah, and Trinidad and Tobago, right? Jamaica batting first, you know, they are 274 for 6 in the first innings, right? Jamaica started off shaky as well, right? Losing two quick wickets, right? They were 9 for 2 at one point, you know, and then there was a partnership between Kirk McKenzie and Jermaine Blackwood, you know, which brought the score to 100 and something. And then they lost some quick wickets again, right? At one point they were about 140 something for 5, you know, but then, you know, it's been a brilliant 7th wicket partnership between Javel Glenn, who's currently on 99 not out, right? And Man Singh, you know, who also scored a half century. I think he's on 15 not out, right? So you know they have definitely propelled the Jamaica Scorpions to a decent score, you know, and I'm sure they'll be coming out in the morning and looking to even further that score and post a huge total on the board, right? Glenn, you know, being only 1 run away from his century, that will definitely be first priority for him, right? You know, and I'm looking forward to seeing him score that century as well, right? Also getting a half century for the Jamaica Scorpions was Jermaine Blackwood. You know, he scored 61 before he got out, right? So so a few half centuries in the innings for Jamaica Scorpions. Trinidad and Tobago, Joshua James is leading the way. You know, Joshua James is a nice bowler. You know, he's pacey and he gets the ball to do a bit, right? And he was the one that made the early inroads for the Trinidad and Tobago team. You know, taking those 2 quick wickets, you know, getting John Campbell and Brandon King out very cheaply, right? But Jamaica were able to pose a fight back. You know, Trinidad, you know, notable absentees for Trinidad are Jaden Seals and Anderson Phillips, right? Two of their leading pace bowlers, you know, both of whom, you know, they are currently away, you know, playing in the English County Championship. right? So Trinidad and so the Trinidad team, you know, is a slightly weakened. Also the Guyana team as well. I must put that in there, right? Because there's no Godakesh Moti, who's also away on other duties, and they're missing another key player of their team due to injury, right? So both of the top two teams, you know, they are slightly weakened coming into this round, but that's no excuse, right? That's why the game is not a one person game; it's a team game. So when the stars are absent, it just provides an opportunity for other players to step up and perform for the team, right? So you know, based on how the first day's results are the first day scores are looking, you know, both the top two teams are in a bit of a bother right now, right? Especially Guyana more so, because right, obviously Trinidad, you know, they have not batted as yet, right? But Guyana, you know, being bowled out for 193 and the win was, you know, 143 for 4, you know, needing only 50 runs to gain first innings points, right? Which is important, right? And because you know with the title race as close as it is, you know, every point is valuable, right? So you know, Guyana will definitely want to get those bonus points for first innings, get those points for first innings, right? The Leewards also are looking to get those points to boost their claim to rise up the table. So to Trinidad are in this match against Jamaica, right? They will want to get Jamaica out, you know, as soon as possible and as cheap as possible, right? You know, obviously 274 is already a lot of runs on the board, which will pose a challenge for them to gain first innings points and also, you know, create a lead, you know, where they have something to bowl at and possibly winning this game. So, you know, it's both Jamaica and Leewards are looking to play party spoilers, right? And also the Windwards, because Barbados, you know, currently struggling as well. So it's been an interesting day. You know, definitely share in the comment section what you think about the day, the first day's play so far, and which team do you think will eventually turn out to being champions of this year's West Indies Championship. You know, but that's all I have for you in this video. But as always, thank you for watching. Do remember to like the video, share your thoughts in the comment section, and subscribe. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next video.